Hello and welcome back, and today I'm going to do a quick review of my kind of thoughts after media day. I know it is testing, so it's hard to get a full view on what's going on. People doing different things, different testing, but at the end of the day you get fast laps. And I think one difference you do get with kind of testing is people aren't perhaps sticking to the track limits. You might get a few times that normally in qualifying will get knocked off to go through. But I thought I'd give a quick look. I might give us a bit of an insight of what to expect from the season, because some interesting and fast times, to be honest. And I thought I would start off with Btcc today. I kind of wanted to go with that first because obviously with the news, unfortunately, that Michael Peace would be racing with them. I'm really gutted because Michael's times were so good. He had P5 in the morning session and P3 in the afternoon. He went quicker in the afternoon, about 3/10. So he had a lot of speed. And it was only about 5 thousandths off Jack Off, who was in second. So that is a super quick last time. That's why I'm so good to see that Michael won't be racing, unfortunately, this season. I'm not sure the reasons why. Main guess is money, unfortunately. But he just looks so quick in that. You then got Josh Cook, who was P8 and P10. Doing 57.6s, similar lap times in both sessions. And then Jade Edwards in their first session did a P12 in the morning and only P22 in the afternoon. Unfortunately, that P22 was actually the only time any of the Hondas for either team, Btcc or Dynamics, which has had top 15, which I thought showed a lot of speed of the Honda. I wasn't sure how that was going to go this season. But to me, unfortunately, shows the crease of a lot of speed. I think Cook should be very competitive. On Honda overall will be quick, and Jade looks super quick in that as well. I think her aim will be Jack Sears this season, just pick up a few points where she can. Big test season for her. She had that first outing last season in the PMR Vauxhall at Silverstone. So it'll be a testing year for this year, just to get a bit of up to speed of it, really. New car for her, because she obviously had the first time driving it. But I thought Btcc Honda overall looked really good this season. I thought Crease and Cook looked like they were really going to battle on, and Edwards would be probably fighting for Jack Sears. She looked really quick in that. Unfortunately, no Crease now after the news this week. But yeah, Btcc looked good in testing. And further on the speed of Honda, if you look at Dynamics, we had Shedden in the morning, who was P7. In the afternoon, he was quickest. He was quickest by about 2/10 in the afternoon session, improved on his morning time by about half a second. And Dan Rowbottom, first time in the Honda, obviously coming back, he had a P13 in the morning and a P9 in the afternoon. So like I said, overall, from both sessions, all 5 Hondas only have one car not in the top 15. So I think that shows how much pace that Honda's going to have this season. I wasn't sure how that was going to go. But what I can see from that, I think especially Shedden is super quick. Obviously, I think he's got to be one of the title contenders. But he's obviously lost none of his pace. He had a bit of a tough time in the World Touring cars, but he looks like he's super fast and on the pace as he comes back now. Next up, look at the BMW. So Turkington was a P2 in the morning and a P13 in the afternoon. I think Turkington knows the speed. He knows what he wants to do. So he probably did a lot of weight, especially in the afternoon. I think he actually went slower in the afternoon, faster time. So I think playing with the weight there, Elephant P10 in the morning, P15 in the afternoon. Again, I think he was playing around with weight. I think that BMW is into his third year of development now. Team BMW, probably know what they want. So I think they do a lot more testing. They weren't bothered about the outright pace of the car. And Stephen Jelly only got a P24 and a P18, which surprised me. I know it's a new car for him. Perhaps have more weight than he's been used to in recent years. I think once he gets up to speed, I think he's such a good driver and he's so used to rear-wheel drive, he will be super quick. I think as he take it to the Olive, probably doing more of a test, not going for outright pace like a lot of people were. I'm just a bit surprised that Jelly wasn't a bit quicker, unfortunately. And then the other BMWs of Morgan and Chilton are Sicily, so obviously they got these new cars for the season. Morgan really impressed me. P9 and P7 in the two sessions for him, both very similar lap times, 57.6s. Obviously with his Ginetta background, he's actually been front wheel driver for quite a few years now, but rear wheel drive he seems to be okay with it. Chilton struggled a bit more though, P15 and P25, so he's slower in the afternoon than he was in the morning. So I think it's unfortunately, I don't know if it's, I said from with testing, you don't know what people are running. But Morgan, I was actually very impressed that. I wondered if he struggled with that new car season, but he looks like he's okay with that. And just Chilton does look like he's struggling a little bit more. All this we'll find out when we get to Thurston next weekend. But to me, obviously Morgan looks like he's on top of that new BMW more than Chilton is. Next, look at the focuses. So Jake had the P11 in the morning, which I thought he might have gone a little bit quicker in the afternoon. The P26, he was obviously in the pits for a long time, so I think he had some sort of problem. Yes, he went slower in the afternoon than in the morning. So it's like Jake Hill's luck has followed him into the Ford, and so hopefully he will pick that up a little bit. I'd expect him to be quick once that Ford is going properly. And Ollie Jackson had a P19 in the morning and a P11 in the afternoon. So they had two P11s. That's the highest they had, those two. I think it will be a much faster car once they get to racing. So they'll probably playing around with a few things. But unfortunately, Jake Hill's bad luck kind of followed him there. I would expect him to be a lot higher. P26 definitely isn't what he's been running. And then the motor-based Fords with Sam Osborne, who had P23 and P19. We'll expect them to be a little bit faster. That is a quick car, the Focus. I mean, the problem is this year you can't predict it because I think all cars, so many new cars, so many so close together. But would have hoped for a little bit better from him. And Andy Neat didn't post time in the morning. He did about 14 laps or something like that, I think, but didn't actually complete a competitive time. I think he must have had a few issues, but in the afternoon did get a P14 overall. I think a few people were surprised to see him that high up, but fair enough. He's got a bit of pace there. It's the second season in this car now, so you would hope he's or expect him to push up a little bit higher in that Focus. But the Focus didn't seem to have as much pace as some of the other cars. It looks very quick with Butcher last season. Jackson got wins in it, but for the four MB Motorsport and motor-based Focuses, they weren't quite as quick as I would have been expecting, to be honest. Next, on to the Speedworks Toyota. So Roy Butcher, the P16 and the P17. It's really not where I would have expected him. And Sam Smelt with his first competitive running. Well, I say competitive, it's compared to other times. So yeah, the P25 and P21. So obviously Butcher is expected to be the faster of the two, but I really would have thought he would have been a little bit higher than that. Going to a works team like that, you probably would have expected Rory to have been a bit faster. But it would be interesting to see now whether that is so much set up to Tom Ingram at Speedworks, however the years, whether Rory and Sam can get on top of that. But unfortunately in testing they didn't look the quickest. But again, who knows what they were actually running in that test session. Next to the PMR Vauxhalls, obviously didn't get a lot of running last year. They only had one car running, obviously didn't have the competitive car. They basically pulled out but kept one car running with guest drivers. So we got Jason Plater back this year, and I was super impressed with him in testing a P4 and a P5 in the two sessions. That's super quick from Jason. If he's got that kind of pace in that Vauxhall, which I thought might have been a little bit slower, has got that kind of pace, that could be a super competitive car this season. And Dan Lloyd, on his return to the championship, had a P14 and a P8. So that is super quick from the Vauxhalls. So the front wheel drive cars really impressed me overall in the sessions. We've been saying in recent years, people thought the rear-wheel drive cars have kind of dominated. I mean, they'll be quicker off the start. It doesn't matter what front-wheel drive, what cars want to do. Rear-wheel drive off the start will catch up. But, after a season out and only kind of having test drivers, I think it's hard to gauge where that Vauxhall was. But that looks like it has got some real rapid pace there. So with Plato and Lloyd, I'm expecting some decent things this season. Next up, we'll look at the Accelerate Trade Price cars, Hyundais. I think the standout, which wasn't a surprise really, is Tom Ingram got a P6 and a P4. Now, I think I didn't quite expect that because that was a lot quicker than that Hyundai was last season. But P6 and P4, that's super quick. That's kind of where he was with his Toyota anyway. If Tom's already doing that with the Hyundai, and if he can develop it more, I think that's a super competitive season for Tom. I kind of thought he might go back a bit compared to the being in the Toyota, but if he's doing that in the Hyundai already in his first competitive test session, that's super good. But you can see he is clearly the fastest of the team because Chris Smiley, who obviously ran it last season, so we should know it. It was a P20 and a P12, so at least they get quicker in second session. Jack Butel, P21, P23, and Rick Parfit, who unfortunately seems to be really struggling with his own cars, was a P26 and P29 in the afternoon, so he was slowest in the afternoon. He just seems to be struggling. As I said, he said it's a lot different to GTs. I really hope he isn't struggling. He can get to grips with it, because it does start to look like it could be a tough season for him. But interesting. But it really looks like, I think people kind of guessed anyway, that England would be kind of the leader of those Hyundais, and it is really looking like some of those test sessions that it will be England who is the #1 driver at Hyundai. So if we're expecting some wins and things from Hyundai, expecting from Tom. Chris might get up there as well, but it looks more like a race 3 job for him again this season. But we'll wait and see once we get to Thruxton. Left on quite late into this, but let's look at Leeds Tool Racing with champion Ash Sutton, P3 and P6. I think that's pretty quick. It's fast times between the two sessions, but actually only 2 thousandths apart. So very consistent from Ash there. I think, again, similar to Colin in like a BMW, he knows what he's doing. Ash will know what he wants to set up the car, how you want to go. It's his second season in the car, so maybe he's been testing around with a bit of weight and things like that. I expect that Hyundai to be super quick again, and challenging for the title. But it kind of looks like a similar job to Tom in the Hyundai. Aidan Moffat was only P18 and P20, seems to still be struggling with rear wheel drive. And Carl Baldy, P17 and P24, first time in that car. He looked better last season in rear wheel drive with the BMW, but I'd hope he'd be even better this season with the Infiniti. I think the Infiniti is a better car than the 1 Series BMW. He's going to have to get to grips with it again, but he could be really on for the Btcc if he can get to grips with that. But he didn't seem to go as quick in that media day test session as some of the other drivers. Like I said, Ash super quick, Carl getting used to the car, and Aidan I don't know if it is rear wheel drive and whether we'll give it one more season and see how it goes. My only thought is he's that kind of Laser Tools and Team Hard have got that partnership together now. Not that I'm pushing anyone out of Team Hard, but perhaps give it one more season. If 2020 he's still struggling with rear wheel drive, whether either might move over into one of the Coopers possibly. That's something I've already started thinking of going into the end of the season, going to 2022. If he wants to go with the front wheel drive with that partnership, that could be something that we see. And for me, I've left best till last. Team Hard, the team I will be supporting again this season, and that's mainly because my man Jack Off drives for them. It was going to be interesting to see how this Cooper goes. Watch a lot of the session. I thought they're not doing too well doing that, and kind of the high teens, 20s. And then towards the end of session 1, Jack really just could see him gradually going up. And what I noticed throughout the session with the Cooper, particularly when Jack seemed to be really putting his foot down, it gets faster and faster each lap. It won't be, sometimes the tyres go and then it gets slower. It was getting faster for a few laps first. So Jack was fastest in session 1 and second fastest in session 2. I mean, that's incredible. It is testing again. But if you compare the lap times, that P1 in session 1, that would have got him second on the grid last season, only behind Dan Camish. And his time in session 2 would have got him on pole last season. Obviously Shedden was faster this time, so it wouldn't have counted. So Cooper clearly got a lot of pace, but again, similar to Ash Sutton in the Infinities and similar to Tom Ingram in the Hyundai, he seemed to be clear fastest, because Glyn Geddy was only P22 and P16 in the 2 sessions. I've hearing this week though, he did unfortunately have a misfire at that test session at Silverstone, so perhaps that was hindering him and he had more pace. But if he was doing P16s with a misfire, I'm sure he'll go a lot faster. He must be aiming top 10s with when it's all said and done and it's car's fixed. Aaron Taylor-Smith, P28 in both sessions. He had a terrible day, to be honest. I think by the time he had a caused a red flag. Part of the front of the car came off in the morning and then engine issue in the afternoon. Aaron Taylor-Smith is definitely not P28 speed. Once he's got the car fixed and it's going right, I'm sure he'll be, again, he should be easily getting points. If Jack can get P1, P2, I'm not sure if Jack can get P1, P2 at Thruxton. Jack said himself, if he's getting in the top 10 in the races at Thruxton, he'll be over the moon. But I think I'd expect Aaron Taylor-Smith to be a lot higher. And Nick Hamilton with a pair of P27s. I think the hardest thing for Nick is he gets a lot of abuse, and then people say he's not good enough and he's too slow. I think every time Nick gets into a new car, especially with his physical condition, I think he struggles so much. It takes a lot of them to get used to it. Hopefully he's had quite a lot of run time now, Coopers. I think Team Hart tried to get as much testing as they can, though, of course they will want to, because it's a new car. They've got Nick in the car as much as they can. Hopefully come Thruxton he'll feel he's comfortable and he'll be able to start pushing on a bit more, because I do think Nick will be fast this season. I think most tracks he's been to and tested at this season, actually come out and said this the fastest he's ever been. Okay, it's testing again. Maybe there's a bit of thing on what would be track limits normally, and depends what they're actually running, but I think that is super quick from Nick, and we'll see a much better season from him this season. Perhaps may even get his first top 10 finish. But I'm super impressed with the Cooper. As Jack showed the outright pace of it, it's got to be consistently fast lap after lap now though, and hopefully the other 3 drivers will gain up to him as well. So that was my quick overview on the media day last week. I said if I had to pick drivers that impressed me, I'd say Jack Goff, Ash Sutton, Jason Plato, Michael Crease, but unfortunately we're just not going to see him this season. Tom Ingram, Gordon Shedden and Adam Morgan, that's about 7 drivers, but they were all consistently good. They had all their lap times within the top 10 in all the sessions. Could ask Josh Cook into that as well. And I imagine Colin Teckham was probably playing a bit of gamesmanship test, doing a bit of testing, not wanting to show the outright pace to BMW, but people know how fast that is. I said it's hard to read into it because who knows what's actually going to happen come Thruxton. What will people run the other day that they maybe will go full speed at Thruxton? But I thought it was an interesting session, and I'm just super glad to see that Jack Off and the Cooper looked like it had a lot of speed, so hopefully they will continue that. But thank you for joining me for my overview of the media day last week, and then I will be getting out my season preview this week as well. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you later this week for my season preview. I will see you then.